Either.
You. Hello, good morning and welcome everybody. Thanks for coming this morning to our webinar on developing your career readiness from day one of university. Bit of a mouthful of title, I know, but welcome and thank you for coming. So just to introduce myself and my colleague, actually two of my colleagues, Mooney. So Mooney is a career development consultant based at the Nathan or South Brisbane, how they call it, is it South? Yeah, South Brisbane campus, and also myself. So I'm Belinda Murphy and from the Gold Coast campus here. And we've also got behind the scenes our colleague Ted, who is one of our project officers within the Careers and Employment team. So today we're actually joined by a couple of special guests, which I'll introduce in a moment. And the whole session today is going to be centered around them and finding out a bit more about what their experiences have been throughout university. And what the real focus is of today is just getting a feel of what kind of things you can do now to really increase your chances of being successful in the Australian labour market. And as I mentioned just earlier before, for those of you who are here in the room, it's never too early to start to think about, perhaps what you want to do with your career down the track, and just working out what are sort of the pieces to the puzzle and how we're going to put this all together. And in an Australian context, a career is actually a lifelong journey. So it's sort of, not one particular end destination as such. So you're probably going to have multiple different options and ways that you could take your degree and your experiences that you have. And then it's just working out, what are some ideas of how you might want to get to those potential destinations, what path you might want to take. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But really informal sort of discussion. So we would love to hear from you, about what your experiences have been. We'll ask you a few questions throughout, but also feel free to ask questions to us as well as we go. And before we get started, I just wanted to acknowledge the traditional custodians and pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So please feel free to use the chat, any comments, introduce yourself, what's your name, also what are you studying, what year level are you in. Also feel free to use the chat for any questions as we go. And we're also going to have a dedicated question time at the end. So if you feel like you want to wait to the end, that's fine. Otherwise, depending on how the conversation's going, we might actually be able to answer them as we go. Also, at the end, you can also take yourself off mute if you want to during that time, and speak if you'd prefer. And during the session too, if you did want to have your camera on, feel free, through these events that we have, we sort of want to create a bit of a feeling that we might be in the room together, a real room, not really, obviously, but a virtual room. But sometimes it can be nice to see other faces, and it's often nice, sometimes you'll see somebody that's studying something similar in country and things like that. So it's always a nice feeling. So at the end of the session, you'll also get your the PowerPoint slides and recording sent to you as well. So just keep an eye out on your Griffith student inbox too. And I just wanted to run through quickly who we are. So obviously there's going to be a few first trimester students here I can see here today. So and some of you, it might be the first event that you've actually attended from us. So part of the careers team here, we offer a range of different resources and programs for you. So you're welcome to have a look through the link. We have many other workshops that we're running over the next few weeks. We've got resources, we've got actually a recruitment team as well. And we've also got careers appointments and other programs as well. So feel free to have a look. We've got more links here. We've actually got a careers fair coming up in a couple more weeks. We've got an industry mentoring program as well. And we've also got specific HDR career support and free support for everybody that is studying from day one. So you can sort of see us throughout your degree and also eligible for up to 4 months after you graduate as well. So obviously a lot of links here now. We're not going to go through them all, but definitely have a look as soon as you can. Oh, excuse me. Because it might be worth just seeing what's coming up and what might be beneficial for you at this point. Oh, sorry. Something in my throat. Okay, so, but thank you to those of you who have been typing away in the chat. That's really useful for us to know who's in the room. We really wanted to introduce you to today's panel members. So we've got Minat and we've also got Medina. So you can see there on the screen what they're studying. So Minat is third year Doctor of Philosophy student in health economics area. And we've also got Medina, who actually graduated, congratulations, Medina, mid-year from her Bachelor of Counselling. And I guess what I'll say with, oh yes, definitely a round of applause. Thank you, whoever did that. Obviously, they've got their specialty areas that they're studying, but when you're thinking about their stories and what they've done in their careers, also think about how those particular skills and experiences could possibly relate to you and your degree that you're doing as well, and pick out sort of key relevant areas for yourself. And it's always just about, working out, I guess, probably, and as you go, jot down what is the most important information that you need to know now. And you don't need to, take absolutely everything in today, but I would definitely make a note of, perhaps some questions for them at the end as well, because, thanks so much for your valuable time, because I know, obviously as students and graduate, always busy. So it's lovely that these people have taken the time to actually talk to you today. So what we're going to do today is a bit of a panel session, so a series of questions that I'm going to ask them both, and then if you both want to answer, or if you want to come back to the answer later, that's fine as well. But I guess to get started, what I'm going to do is stop sharing my screen so we can see our lovely panel members. Oops, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so what I'd love to hear first is if you can just both briefly introduce yourself and share a bit about what inspired you to pursue your current field of study. So Medina, did you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. My name is Medina. I'm from Kazakhstan. And as you know, I just completed my Bachelor of Counseling. And one of the reasons I was inspired to study counseling specifically was because I was interested in mental health and wanted to get into helping other people with mental health problems. But counseling degree was specifically a good choice for me because of the placement opportunity. So I got to do like real life work and apply the knowledge and skills I've gained in my first 2 years of counseling degree. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Medina. And it's great with that degree that you do have that practical placement where you can get exposure to the workplace as well. And some of you will know that some of your degrees do have these sort of within the degree already, which is great. And sometimes it's sort of a matter of, how am I going to get that sort of experience or exposure to the industry if you don't have that within your degree as well. So starting to think about that too. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And Minette?
Hi, sorry, I have a sore throat.
Oh,
So, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Belinda and Moni, for inviting me. And my name is Minat, and I'm in my third year of my PhD in health economics, and my study revolves around mental health and well-being. Um, I have been also working with the PA Hospital, Metro South, since last 1 year, and I'm working as a capacity of research officer there. I am also an international rep for Board of Graduate Research Studies, and I try to mentor and counsel people, international students who sometimes, I mean, because of multiple reasons, they feel misfit or just being in a new culture and new society, they face a lot of problems and difficulties. So I try to counsel and mentor them. My why I use this area around the mental health and well-being is that I've always been passionate about well-being of a person, of the human resource, human productivity, because I strongly believe that physical health is the reason being physically unhealthy is the reason behind there is some reason behind being mentally unhealthy. So I want to sort out the problems. I like to mitigate the problem at the mm, first stage, that is the nip the thing in the bud, rather than giving a lot of time and just trickling down to their physical health. So I think mental health is very important, and I completely agree with Medina that how mental health is important and how it can help people, if it's been if you're saved in an earlier stage. Yes.
yeah, excellent. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I can see we've got quite a lot of similarities between the two of you with what you've been studying, which is always nice, even though you've got completely different degree titles as well. Um, so thank you. And I guess thinking about, obviously a lot of the students in the room are probably in the first year from what I can see, but also for those students who are, throughout their degree, perhaps second, third, fourth, etc. year. I guess for yourselves, when you first started university, what kind of things did you find were really useful to get involved with? So I guess, did you do any volunteering or any other internships or networking events or anything like that that you felt were really beneficial to you? Medina, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I started volunteering at Student Guild. That was my first like exposure to doing something outside of studying. And I found it really, really helpful in networking with others, but also it helped me get a job at Student Guild later on. So it was really the volunteering that I did that helped me find out about Student Guild, what the services are, but just also meet the people that work there. And I found that that's the best way to really, get your foot out the door is by volunteering at uni. Also, some of the networking events I've attended through you guys, the career services, were also really helpful. I would just say any resource that is available to you, I would start using right away. I was a bit too late in starting, so that would be my biggest advice for sure. Start now as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, sometimes it's a bit more comfortable too to start with Griffith. I think, when you're already here and you're sort of familiarizing yourself with the campus and everything, obviously focus on the studies, but also start to think about, yeah, what are some volunteering opportunities that Griffith might have? And the Student Group Guild is a great example on the Gold Coast because they've got so many different volunteering roles, don't they, that you can sort of
Yeah.
get involved with, and it's sort of minimal commitment, is it? It's not really like you don't have to be there every day or anything.
You can choose whatever event you want to volunteer for and however many hours they are. Like sometimes it's just 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours. So you can really choose what you want to do. It's very flexible.
Yeah, great. And it's interesting too that you got the job afterwards, after you'd already
Yeah.
volunteered with them. And yeah, and I guess obviously you made a good impression in the volunteering that they wanted to continue you there. And the good thing with volunteering at Griffith, even if you're applying for, say, a part-time or a casual job outside of your studies, it's still helpful. Like it's still showing that you've got that experience, even though it wasn't paid. So yeah, definitely a good thing for people to consider. But obviously, working around what's going to suit you. There's many other volunteering opportunities as well. So it's a matter of finding, what suits you with your schedule and everything as well. Yeah, great. Thank you. So Minette.
So most of the opportunities I've been involved in, like volunteering, networking events, and even mentoring, came through a mix of being proactive and staying connected to the university community. I regularly checked the programs which are coming in from the HTR teams and career services, read programs, and I also made it a habit to attend events hosted by Griffith, which helped me meet like-minded people and learn about volunteering roles. LinkedIn also played an important role for me, not just for job hunting, but for building my professional profile and connecting with people who later pointed me to opportunities. I think being visible and engaged across all these platforms really made a difference. So, yep.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. It sounds like you've both been very busy throughout your throughout your studies. But that's excellent too that you mentioned the LinkedIn as well, because for those students who don't know, LinkedIn is a professional networking platform, and it's often really good to start it now. So even though you're a student, you might not be looking for professional work yet. It's often good to expand your network, and also maybe research career paths from people that are working in the kind of industries that you might be interested in as well. So again, one of those things never too early to do. And I liked your how you said be proactive and connected to the university. So proactive is a big key, isn't it? Because these things aren't really going to just happen themselves. They're things that you actually have to actively go out and source and
Yeah.
apply for. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is that I believe that there is everything. In fact, last week I had a meeting with Rebecca as well, and with the other people, and I just mentioned that that the being proactive is the key to whatever you achieve, because things are, I mean, they are there, they are visible. There's a need to go find them out. I mean, you have to look for themselves, look yourself. They are not going to be served in the platter. So it's like, once you go out, look into the websites, I think, and since I have been interacting with a lot of UQ students and their supervisors and their, I mean, different workshops I've attended, and I've realized that that Griffith offers much more than what UK is offering. Now, there is no comparison kind of a thing, but the thing is that uh, I have been looking into and meeting people, and I realized that, I mean, Griffith is offering much more. I agree that there are sometimes the websites are a bit technical, and there are like a cycle of links which you have to tap into, get into the right place. But and we are aligning with this thing with the BGRS. We are trying to sort that out as well, to have easier websites. Um, Although I don't think so it's that hard, but still, we are trying that, and just to make easiest for the students. And but I think students also needs to be a bit proactive and need to go out and try to find out the opportunities which are actually lying there, and there are a lot of vacuum there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. Yeah, sometimes it just takes that extra click to to get to the spot that you need to get, and
Mhm.
just trying to dig into that website. And I guess if you ever get stuck, that's the kind of things that you can ask us about, or anybody at the uni, always open to helping with any navigation questions and things like that. And that's why we sort of have these sessions too, to reiterate what is on the website and what you can access. So yeah, really good point there. It is there, but sometimes it takes a bit of digging. But also sometimes you're not sure of what to look for, like you're not sure of what's actually going to be beneficial for you. And often the answer will be different depending on what degree you're studying, what stage of your degree you're at, and what you've actually got time for, really. So looking into each of the things and working out what's best for you. And sort of on that topic of thinking about building skills now that are going to help with future career, and what we call it, I guess, is employability skills. You might hear that phrase, or soft skills. Some people might know of that term as well. So if I can ask you both, what are some of the soft skills and also technical skills perhaps that have made you stand out, you feel like, when you have applied for jobs or internships or volunteering, that you've found most useful going forward? Medina.
Um, I think for my specific case, I applied for a resume reviewer job at Student Guild. So one of the most important skills they looked for was written communication and interpersonal skills, because of that one-on-one interaction with students and obviously helping them write good resumes. But overall, I would say transferable skills, those soft skills will be a good starting point for someone who hasn't really had much experience working. I My situation might be a bit different because I did do a different bachelor degree in the past. So I did a lot of different types of work at uni previously. So I had that a lot of those skills already. But yeah, again, like communication skills are very important, teamwork skills, knowing what to prioritize, so time management, those skills like, are you able to ask your boss if you're in trouble? Are you an honest person? Um, I think if you have those skills, the technical skills are not as hard to gain. But again, that's just my experience. So I don't know, maybe for IT students, it will be different. Yeah.
Yeah, good point too. Because you originally did IT, didn't you? You studied IT and kind of worked in that space. And so it's interesting that you've gone from that to counselling, but you've still found that there's sort of similar crossover with the soft skills. Would you say that that's sort of helped you to where you are now as well? Even because I know that there might be a few students in the room that might have, studied something previously, or might be in the midst of kind of career transition as well.
Yeah, so I did information systems, so there's still some business aspect to it. So there were a lot of soft skills involved in my previous jobs. But yeah, I would say any job you do, there will be certain skills that they'll look for. And is as long as you have those skills,
Yes.
um, you'll get to the first steps of. And volunteering is a really good start. If you've never done anything in your life, I would say volunteering will help you slowly start gaining those skills that you can put on your resume as well as evidence of having them. Yeah, if that
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
true. That's good because, I guess, you can always list those skills, but if you don't have the evidence to back it up, um, often that's what employers will question. So it's great
Yeah.
that and obviously you've got experience in that too as a resume reviewer. You sort of know what to look for with that evidence, but so
Yes.
do employers. So employers always want to see that practical experience, or how have you actually acquired the skills,
Mm.
rather than just listing them down. Yeah, good point. Okay, Minette?
So I sorry, I think a combination of soft and technical skills really helped me. On the technical side, having um, an understanding of data analysis, like working with different softwares, and being able to interpret and communicate findings was a big advantage, especially in research and health economics role, where I specifically working in right now. On the soft skill side, strong communication, teamwork, and time management, I think, are the key roles for key attributes that you need to have. For example, being able to explain complex ideas in a simple way, or to adapt to different teams, or meeting deadlines under pressure, are things employer really value. I also found that showing initiatives like volunteering for extra tasks or contributing ideas um, always leaves a good impression during your internship and networking period. So, yeah.
So true. Yeah. So sort of going above and beyond the duties and making sure that you show that good impression from day one.
Hmm.
And even if a role might be unpaid, it's still really important to be reliable and on time and everything like that as well.
Absolutely. To add on to this, I would say that I started my first job at Griffith on campus with career in development with Deanne, and I started with as a volunteer. And um, so when you do a little extra, it always pays you in a better manner. And within, I think, couple of weeks, Deanne offered a position, although it was a casual and a 1 day a week, but it always pays you if you give extra effort to things. I think, even if not, I'm just giving you my example. Sometimes it might not give you as immediate results as I got, um, I always believe that whatever volunteer work, in fact, just give you one more example, that while I was back at home, I was working with a hospital I mean, for almost 2 years or so, I was working on a volunteer basis, and it never, I was like, even my family were sometimes, oh my god, you're giving so much time and so much, sometimes you do have with your other, you have other things in your life, people do say that, so I was like, I enjoy that, and actually I was enjoying it. It was a hospital environment. I mean, I'm kind of an health economist. It was really aligned with whatever interest I was in the area. And eventually, when I applied for my scholarship at Griffith University, that was one of the things which was my supervisor really liked, that, oh, you have volunteered 2 years in a hospital. I mean, it was something which I never thought that it'll get paid off in a manner, but he realized that since learning, I'm coming into this health economics group, and how and healthcare staying connected within healthcare thing, and also on a volunteer basis, just showed that how passionate I am about this field, and it really paid off in this manner. So and I'm not saying that's the only thing. Yeah, I had a good um, this thing grades and everything that was there, and I had a published papers. But I think there is always a little edge given to you when you do get involved in these things. In fact, one more example I would like to give you is that I was also offered a place at Harvard University, but yeah, they were giving me just partial scholarship, but I was two among those students who finally got into this, final shortlisted people. And here also the edge was given to I, since I was working in a hospital on a volunteer basis. I mean, I think these being involved as a volunteer paid off me in a better manner than if I would have been working there, because it just showed my passion and my love towards this kind of a field, and the mental well-being and all that. So I think it always pays you off, maybe sometimes immediately, sometimes it takes some time, but it's beneficial for you sometimes in your life.
Yeah, excellent. That's some great stories there, and how it's helped you with scholarships as well, because it's not just about work. It could be about, your next degree. It could be getting referees as well and that kind of thing, for the next job. And again, it's great that you got that relevant volunteering too in your actual field, because sometimes that might be possible for you as you go, for other students to find what is a relevant volunteering opportunity that I can do that I'm actually passionate about and actually ties to my career goals as well. But that's great to hear that, it's been so valuable for both of you as well. And I know, in careers appointments, I'm always hearing about successes of people that have started in volunteering and either gotten, a job in that company or down the track. As you said, it's not always instant. Sometimes it's years down the track. But if you have those connections and you keep them like warm connections and you stay in touch with people, that's the other way that, volunteering can really come through in the end, as well as obviously helping people in the meantime. Okay, excellent. So, and I guess thinking about, there might be some students in the room that might have had some challenges already at university, perhaps being new students, maybe some challenges have already come up, and things like that. So I guess as international students or multilingual students, what are some of the challenges you might have faced early on, and how did you overcome those?
Should I go first?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, Matilda, thank you.
I would say one of the challenges was just adapting to the Australian culture. I did not know much about Australia when I first came here. And it was also kind of my fault because I wasn't as proactive. I'm very introverted as a person, so it takes me a lot to get out there and talk to people in real life. So, but now looking back, I wish I went to the careers fair as a first year student. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. What's the point? But now I realize I should have just gone and talked to the employers and just gain more perspective about my field and understand what kind of employers are out there so that I would know more now about those employers or the jobs that I want to do as a graduate from the counseling field.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was one of the challenges. And I would utilize the Careers Hub page and look at the events, especially the face-to-face events, or the Student Guild. They also have some career-related events at times. But the networking events were really helpful as well, just to meet new people and also get some new knowledge about my degree. And yeah, just being out there, being proactive was the best way to get out of my challenges of learning about Australia and the people and the culture.
Yeah, such a great point there. And there's so many ways I guess you can. I guess the more that you get involved, did it feel easier the more the people you
Yeah.
spoke to and different things you went to? And it's a great point too about the careers fair and meeting employers earlier and finding out what are they actually wanting from you down the track.
Yeah, I would actually ask the employers, just being honest and saying I'm a first year student. If you kind of know what you want to do, like I didn't really know. Counseling is very broad. I didn't really know until I did my placement what I wanted to do. But if you have some idea, I would just ask as a counseling student, what would be the best skills or what would you look for in your, candidates for the jobs that you have, and just go from there.
Yeah, excellent advice. Because I think, and that way through asking those questions of what skills and experiences that they're looking for, you can actually try and fill those gaps,
Yeah.
throughout your degree as well and work out, oh, okay, they said this skill that I don't have yet, maybe I'll find a volunteering opportunity that ties in with that, or, some other program that I can sort of get exposure to that to sort of be more ready when you've finished.
And I would just add to that, I would also, looking back, I would also go on to seek and just look at some of the jobs available for that are relevant to your degree and see what kind of skills overlap. So say I want to be a domestic violence counselor, and then I would look into all the different domestic violence counseling roles available for different employers and see what kind of skills all of them look for that overlap, and try to gain those skills throughout my degree, because just studying is not enough.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's being proactive in itself, isn't it? Just like looking at job ads and often a lot of people don't think about that because obviously if you're not going for work, why are you looking at job ads? But it's actually such a good research tool, isn't it, to work out who's actually recruiting and what are
Yes.
they actually asking for, and just working out, how you're going to get to that point when you're finished. So yeah, some great tips. Thank you. And Minette?
Yeah, so as an international and multilingual student, one of the biggest challenge I faced early on was adjusting to a different academic and social culture. Things like academic, like participating confidently in discussion and even informal networking felt unfamiliar at times, like coffee catch-ups. And I mean, this wouldn't happen back at home. uh, Another challenge was building a sense of belonging since I was away from my usual support network. To overcome these, I made a conscious effort to attend workshops offered by university, like EILP and all that. And and I also found it helpful to reach out to lecturers, I mean supervisor, not only mine but others relevant to my field, and mentors where I needed guidance. Over time, these small steps really helped me feel more confident and connected. I also think that back at home, we do have kind of, I mean, country I belong to, I'm from Pakistan. So, and always being going to, to an English medium education system. So it wasn't that difficult to understand the language, but the problem was the dialect. I mean, because back at home I mean, somewhere in between American and English. I mean, UK English and Australian English. And we are a combination of everything. Like for example, we would. Uh, I'll give you two examples that back at home we will call it often and not often. For example, it's a small things which, like, and we would call it H and not H. You see, these are some of the dialects and some of the words, and the pronunciations, which actually gave me a bit of a difficulty to understand. I mean, I could understand what's happening, but I could not understand, am I understanding it correctly, or am I not? Another thing was that, I mean, every language, every country, even if it's English or any other language, there is always some kind of slangs, some kind of, gestures which are there in between the lines, and it is like, you don't need to. I mean, they are not. Do not have literal meaning, but it has some kind of a meaning. And obviously, Australia also had that kind of something which is happening between the conversation, which really made me a bit difficult for me. That is that what they really literally mean, or is this just kind of a joke, or are they not too serious about it? You see those kind of small things, but I think I just made an extra effort, and I would tell my supervisor sometimes if I would have conversation with a mentor or my supervisor or for the people who did belong to Australia, and if they would say something, initially I was a bit hesitant, but gradually I learned that I need to ask them that, do you literally mean that? Or is it just kind of a, it was just, by the way you said that. So it was, and then gradually I learned that, I mean, I'm still learning. But I think now in a better position that I do understand when something is happening in between the lines. And yeah, so I think these are some kind of constraints which are faced by international bilingual, not only me, by others as well. So yeah, those are the things there in the world.
Yeah, and I like how you were talking about, clarifying what they meant as well, because often people don't mind, if you're gonna clarify what they mean, because otherwise you might go keep in the conversation and not realize, like, you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm still not sure, and then
Mhm.
things get
Yeah,
miscommunicated. So it's great
yeah.
that you were, direct with asking questions, and no one minds about that.
And to add to it, I would say that initially, yes, I was hesitant, but then I realized that even people don't mind explaining. I mean, they do understand, and especially in an academic environment. Now, if I would say that I did the same thing at my job, I think that wouldn't work in a better manner. But in an academic environment, and all the students are there in the room are in the academia right now, so I mean, it's an easy time to go ahead, ask for the clarity, because once you will be in your professional life will be a bit difficult, because sometimes you cannot even ask questions. The reason being, you're working there and you are being judged. So right now you're not being judged. You are, I mean, you are absolutely, you know, free to ask, and you are considered as a naive person, even in an and especially when you're coming as an international student, just feel free to ask. Yeah, I agree that sometimes it is very like you get hesitant, but I think you should do it. I mean, there is no harm in doing that, and nobody minds that.
Yeah, definitely. Great points there. Thank
So
you.
Munni is laughing over my thing. Is it something?
No, I 100% agree with you. It's so great, valuable point because it really resonates. I'm sure it resonates to so many students hearing from you. It's not about being rude to somebody, it's just more about having the confidence and skills in how to ask for clarification. So, yeah, it was good smile, positive smile, because you just mentioned a very important point. Over to you.
Yeah. Um, and I guess so before we sort of get to the student questions, I've just got one more question for you both, if that's okay. So obviously we've covered a lot of great tips today. I was just wondering, sort of looking back, is there any other things that you wanted to add in that you feel like might be useful for students to start doing now, whether they are, first year, second year throughout their degree? Something that might help them to prepare for the future and for their career as well. So do you have any other final, I guess, tips before we go into the questions? Medina, if you want to start with that one.
Yeah, I was thinking about industry mentoring. I don't know how early you can start that. Is it from first year?
Yeah, so if you're in your master's degree or postgraduate degree, you can do from now. If you're in your undergraduate degree, you have to do at least 80 credit points first before you're eligible to join this program. But you can do this, once you get to that point, you can do the program as many times as you like as
Yes.
well.
Oh, sorry. I would just say the moment you're eligible to this program, I would just start immediately. And that's also a great way to learn more about the Australian culture, because in my case, I had a mentor, Nina, from the careers team, actually. And she gave me a lot of great tips, not just about the careers field, like going into career development counselor, but just in general, if I had asked her, what about, this field or that field? She knew a lot of people, so she could just connect me or give me some guidance on how to do that. So I thought that was one of the most valuable experiences for me. And I don't think it's a very common thing that you'll have. So I would utilize that resource as much as you can. And I would also recommend starting LinkedIn page early on. That's something that a lot of students didn't really see value when I was doing resume reviews at Student Guild. I think a lot of them felt hesitant because they didn't have much to put on their LinkedIn. But I would say just use it as a resource where you can learn about other people that are in the field already, like established, and also to network, and also to see what's going on. Like Belinda posts when there's events happening as well. So sometimes I'll see that, and that would be another way I'll know that there's a workshop going on. So it's just a very useful tool that I think a lot of people overlook, and I would start learning about it now. Yeah, and I think just having a resume, like a starting resume, is also good. Resumes are not that easy to write. So using again the resources, I know it's overwhelming. I agree. There's sometimes a lot of links to get to the careers page where you're looking for, but I'll just take it step by step. So just set, like a plan. Today I'm only gonna look for certain sections on resume, or tomorrow I'll be doing some of the LinkedIn learning. Don't try to do everything at once. I think that way you don't feel too overwhelmed, and it'll help you stay motivated and actually do a good job at creating those platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome final tips, and totally agree with everything there. And definitely, don't do it all at once. Don't just wake up tomorrow and go, okay, I'm going to do everything today. Chip away at it over the next, year to however long you're at uni, and you can always add to these things as well. Even if you change direction, that's fine, because obviously through the mentoring program, getting that career clarity can be really useful as well. And at Griffith, it's actually been running for almost 31 years now, that particular program. So it's like an award-winning mentoring program where you do get matched with an industry professional of interest to you. So it's definitely worth doing, as you said, as soon as you can as well. So excellent. Thank you. And Vinod?
So I think that I'll recommend to students in their first or second year is to start building experiences and connection as early as possible. Don't wait until your final year to think about your career. Get involved. Get involved now. This would mean volunteering, going and doing internship, attending networking events, or even just having coffee catch-ups with the people in your field. These experiences not only help you build your skills and resume, but they also give you clarity about what you enjoy and where you want to go. I also recommend working on your professional profile early. Set up your, as Medina said, set up your LinkedIn profile. Uh, Practice your interview skills and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Every small step that you take now adds up and makes you much more confident and prepared by the time you graduate. I would also add, I would just give you, and I think sometimes you see some opportunity, you go there, and there is not kind of a response. I mean, the response you are expecting, it's not there, and you just, just lose your heart. And I think you need to be consistent when these things comes. And I would give you my example when I first applied to, sorry, PA hospital. Um, I was, actually applied to the Metro South Health, and I mean, there were so many times that I would get delayed responses, and sometimes I would not get response, but then I would, after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would just send them soft reminders, and they would say, oh, now yeah, we are in the practice of doing the serology test or this, or kind of things, different things which are required, which are the requirement. So so I stayed, I mean, this happened for 6 months. um, every time I would ask them and say, oh yes, now I mean, they might be busy, whatever the thing is, but I was interested. It was a hospital, my area of interest. I wanted to do that, and I would send them soft reminders after every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on the kind of response I'm expecting. And um, when finally, when I joined the company, I realized that actually there was no protocol for the international student to get a job or as a casual in the organization, and that was the reason it was getting delayed. And with my consistent push, actually they were trying to create something, So, and I would say I'm the first student from the, I mean, there are a lot of students there, but and the capacity of what I am doing, I'm the first one. And they had to create that kind of a protocol to have these, for these kind of position, to have an international students there. And I think, yeah, so being consistent and just being, again, being proactive helps you achieve things which you think it's not possible. Yeah.
Yes, amazing, amazing. Thank you. That's a great way to, I think, finish up with you both. But of course, we'll get to some questions in a moment as well. But thank you so much for your time to both of you. I feel like you've given so much advice, great advice to the students here today. So yes, big round of applause to Minat and Medina for coming here today. And if you do have any questions for them now, please do feel free to type them into the chat or raise your hand as well if you would like to. What we're going to do is just a couple more slides on the other upcoming events that we have now, so that you know what else to look out for. And it's great because both of you actually touched on a lot of the themes that we have in our follow-up events as well. So thank you for that that plug to all of those topics, such as finding a job. That's our next one next week. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen, and please do feel free to keep typing in any questions now while I'm just getting myself organised. Okay.
Sorry, I would also like to add one more thing, that
Oh,
if
yes,
any
sure.
student, as an international rep, if any student would like to come meet me one to one, some kind of a coffee catch up or anything, I'm there. I can help them out with the things, even if it's a cultural thing or a communication or anything. They please feel free to get in touch with me, and I will try to, if nothing else, I will try to support them.
Thank you. Thank you for that offer. That's really lovely to know. And it's so great, like how many different supportive people there are at this university. And especially, you know, with your expertise, Minette, that I'm sure people will be interested in that as well. Okay, so before we sort of go to the questions, let's just have a quick look at what's upcoming. So these are all of the different topics of workshops that we've got. You might have seen some of them on Career Hub. That's just how you book in and how you get that information. We've covered a lot of things today about building cultural awareness and interview skills, and also effective resumes and how important that is. So I'd highly recommend that you attend as many of these as you can. If not, you can always welcome to have a look and visit our Exploring Careers in Australia playlist, where we actually have all of the previous recordings there. And also, if you would like to, oh, yes, Bonnie, yes, we are recording now, and we will actually send this video to you along with the slides as well. So feel free to check your student inbox for that information. Also, oh, for some reason that's gone a bit skewed, but developing your employability website might be really useful for you as well, because that actually covers off a lot of the topics that we've discussed today. And it's often a good starting point to work out what are the different areas that are available to you and what you might like to start with. And on that website as well, they've also got specific schools, so you can have a look and see what is your school and what kind of things are running in that school. But otherwise, the generic, this link down here, really useful to go to and have a look and see how you can actually find those volunteering opportunities and things like that that we were talking about earlier. So before we get to the questions, I would just love to just take a moment to take 2 minutes, if you can, please, just to fill out some feedback for this seminar today. So either use the QR code or type in the link there. So it's Hopefully you can see it. It's so small on my screen. But feel free to have a go at that if you can. That will just help us to, I guess, create new events for you, in future trimesters. And as you can see, we sort of have this set of series of events for students. So we're always, open to feedback. So positive, negative, any areas for improvement, or any things that you particularly liked hearing about. We would love your feedback there. So if you just take a minute or two to do that, we're also going to send out the survey to your, the chat box. Mooney, do you have a link? Do you have the survey link by any chance? We put it in the chat. Yeah, thank you. You're more onto that than me. I wouldn't know how to find it, so thank you. It'll also be sent to you as well in the email, in the follow-up email as well. Okay, so while we're doing that, is there any questions? Let's see, is there any question? Okay, so Mooney's got a question. I see your question, Mooney. Thank you. All right, so both Minna and Medina, what is the next thing you're working on for your career development? Is there anything exciting that you're working towards?
Should I go first?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so the thing is that I have been attending this industry mentoring program, and now I have, Breda has been very helpful in that. And so now I have been attending this earlier, but now with this thing, I've asked Breda to help me. I want this kind of health economic focused mentor, and she's find out that one. And now I'll be having mentoring from her. So I believe that uh, however however busy or however you think you have learned, you have actually learned nothing. And I think there is always something left, and you should make the most out of whatever 2 years, 4 years, 3 years program you are in. You should make most out of it till the end. So yeah, so I'm trying to do, I'll be going for a new mentoring session, as well as I try to update I've started learning R, which is I wasn't good at. And so these are so I think with all my busy schedule and everything, I think these two things are enough for me right now.
Yeah, thank you. And it's the mentoring program's definitely been getting a good plug today. So I'll definitely pass that on to Breeda. You might be getting some more mentees pretty soon. For those of you who don't know, Breeda's the one that runs that program alongside our colleague Nicole. So yes, we've sent the links and everything if you do want to join that, if you're eligible. All right, thank you. And Medina.
At the moment, I'm more focused on finding a job. So I'm not really being picky about the type of job I'm looking for, but I am being picky about the organization. To me, it's important that the culture is good and I don't feel too stressed at my future job. But in terms of roles, I'm more open since I just graduated. So down the line, though, I am interested in becoming a domestic violence counselor. So I'm looking forward to volunteering in that space.
Yeah, excellent. And it's interesting that you're still obviously, even though you graduated, thinking about the volunteering opportunities that are linked to your future as well. See, sort of it never ends in a way sometimes. Like it'll always be a good way to explore different areas of interest and everything as well.
Yeah.
But exciting times for you both by the sounds coming up soon. So excellent. So was there any other questions? Sorry, have I missed anybody? Feel free to take yourself off mute if you like. No questions? No? Okay. Well, if you think of anything, as I've said before, you know, we do have the one-to-one career support appointments as well. So, you know, perhaps I know today you've had a lot of information and a lot of advice and different places that you can go and look for opportunities and everything like that. But sometimes, yeah, when you start to have a look, and it can get overwhelming to see all of the things that are available. So if you do find yourself in that position, please do feel free to reach out for an appointment and we can chat through what might be best for you and sort of work out a plan going forward. But I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us today, and in particular our special guests, Medina and Minat. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to speak to everybody. And I've personally found it very valuable. And it's always interesting to hear like what are the most common, I guess, areas of value to students as well, because then I can also pass on that advice to the students that we see, you know, in other workshops and also other careers appointments as well. So thank you very much. We will send out all of this, the slides and also the recording this afternoon, hopefully, if technology allows. Thank you to my colleague Mooney as well for being in the background, and also Ted. To see you're there as well. So thank you both, and have a good day, everybody. And we hope to see you at some of the other upcoming events, which are is it next Tuesday? I think next Tuesday is the next event that we have on how to find a job. So feel free to join us for that one. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you, guys.